The Volquest 2-minute drill is brought to you by Craven Wings.
Alongside Brent Hubbs, I'm Austin Price. Craven Wings 2-minute drill on this Monday. Brent, Tennessee's into the week 2 of fall camp, and clearly Rodney Garner is trying to pick up the pressure on his group. Not in a bad way, but just kind of speaking urgency, 24 days until kickoff.
Yeah, and he needs help. I mean, they need to grow some depth. I mentioned this in the 10 things I think this is a huge week, I think, for Bryson Eason. Okay, Rodney Garner talked about it. All the tools are there. Now it's consistently putting in the effort the way you need to put in the effort to be the kind of player you can be to help this team alongside Omari Thomas. Who else is going to be out there? I thought a fascinating note from Rodney Garner about Dominic Bailey. Forgotten man on my part. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think he was going to be a factor. Sounds like he's going to be in that rotation. I think when you talk about young people, Tyree West going to be able to help him some. Sounds like Joshua Joseph may be able to help him some as
Clearly
well.
Trying to coach Tyree West out of some of those high school mistakes.
Yeah, and again, I think part of that was Tyree West probably looks around and says, hey, I know I'm going to play, right? And so it's probably a little bit different mentality than he had in the spring. And Rodney Garner's still trying to coach that out of him. And the harder a guy like Rodney Garner coaches you, the more he thinks you can play. And I think that's how Tyree West needs to take that. And I'll continue to hear Tyler Barron doing better and better, practicing more consistently, doing the things that he needs to do. So some positives from the defensive line, from a defensive line coach that doesn't exude a ton of positives, but the message was still clear. Time is not on your side right now. 24 days, we got a lot of work to do, and a lot of guys need to get better in a hurry.
And one area where they've got to get better, and Coach Garner talked about it, is finding that Matthew Butler type leader. They're trying to push BY into that role, but that maybe goes against some of his nature as a vocal person.
Yeah, it does. I think in talking to Byron earlier in camp, he's trying to move into that mode. It's not what he is the most comfortable with. He's better at it, but not necessarily where you need to be. Matthew Butler held everybody to a standard, and probably, as Rodney Garner mentioned today, probably would not appreciate it as much as you should have, just because he held everybody accountable, and nobody could say Matthew Butler took a play off. No one could look at him and go, hey, don't get on me, look what you're doing. Matthew Butler went every rep as hard as he could. Rodney Garner's trying to find some guys like that, trying to continue to push that throughout his group.
Bryson Eason, someone that Coach Garner raved about today from an athletic standpoint, gave him superlative after superlative, but it's pretty clear he's got to continue to come along if he's going to start and or potentially start and be a real factor.
Well, I think it's the effort. I think it's maximizing your effort more than a handful of reps. It's continuing to do that rep in, rep out. You got all the tools that you need to win and all the tools that you want to have in an SEC defensive tackle. Now you got to play that way, play in, play out. You got to do all the little things every snap, finishing at the ball, the effort that you're looking for. And I think that's what Rodney Garner is preaching. So that's why I said earlier, I think it's a big week for Bryson Eason. This is a week for him to kind of turn the corner and go. It's go time for him to be a guy that Rodney Garner feels like he can count on for a bunch of snaps, not just a handful, but a bunch of snaps on any given Saturday.
The Garland brothers, Omari Thomas, we've heard from them all. Those interviews are up at Volquest. He's Brent Hubbs. I'm Austin Price for the Craven Wings 2-minute drill. And always remember,
when you're craving wings, it's got to be Craven Wings. Online at cravenwings.com.